Car wiring repair near me. Why electrical problems need proper diagnosis and clear answers. When someone searches for car wiring repair near me, they're usually dealing with a vehicle problem that feels frustrating, confusing, or unpredictable. Maybe the car does not start every time. Maybe the battery keeps dying. Maybe the headlights flicker. A warning light appears, disappears, and then comes back. The power windows, locks, mirrors, wipers, radio, backup camera, or climate control stops working without obvious reason. Maybe a fuse keeps blowing, and replacing it only works for a short time. Electrical problems create stress because they are not always visible. A worn tire can be measured. A leaking hose may leave fluid behind. A brake noise can be heard, but wiring issues can hide behind the dashboard, under the hood, inside the door, beneath the seat, near the fuse box, along the frame, inside a connector, or deep inside a wiring harness. Modern vehicles depend on electrical communication more than ever. The battery, the alternator, starter, sensors, control modules, relays, fuses, switches, grounds, lights, connectors, and wiring harness all work together. When one wire is damaged, one ground weakens, the connector corrodes, or a circuit loses communication. The symptoms may seem random or unrelated. That is why car wiring repair should never be based on guessing. It should be based on proper testing, accurate diagnosis, clear explanation, and repair work that addresses the root causes instead of temporarily hiding the symptoms. A repair shop that truly has the customer's best interest at heart does not rush into replacing parts just because something electrical is acting up. It slows down enough to understand the concern, test the system, explain what was found, and help the customer make the right decision for safety, reliability, and long-term vehicle life. Electrical problems can be really, really difficult, though. I mean, really difficult. Electrical problems are different from mechanical problems because they may not happen consistently. A worn belt usually stays worn. A leaking hose usually continues to leak. A noisy bearing usually keeps making noise, but a wiring issue may appear and disappear. A vehicle may start perfectly in the morning and fail later in the day. A warning light may turn on during one drive and disappear during the next. A power window may work sometimes and fail when the door moves. A fuse may blow only when specific systems turn on. A battery may die overnight, but sometimes stay powered after the vehicle is shut off. That intermittent nature is what makes electrical concerns so frustrating for drivers. Many customers describe the problem with statements like, "My car only does it sometimes." "The battery keeps dying, but the battery tested good." "The fuse keeps blowing." "The light came on, went off, and now it's back." "The window works when it wants to." "The headlights flicker when I hit bumps." "The vehicle would not start yesterday, but now it starts." These are not meaningless complaints. These are clues. They help a skilled technician understand the conditions under which the failure occurs. Electrical problems may involve damaged wiring, poor grounds, loose terminals, corroded connectors, voltage drop, excessive resistance, open circuits, short circuits, failed relays, blown fuses, weak module communication, heat damage, water intrusion, rodent damage, or previous repairs that were not properly completed. Because there are so many possibilities, guessing is not in the customer's best interest. Testing is. But here's the problem. It only does it sometimes. Well, the technician's getting paid the entire time he's on your vehicle. He should get paid when he's working on your vehicle. So when a technician's trying to duplicate the problem, that's when it gets interesting. Because if it only does it sometimes, and it may take hours for it to happen again, so most shops will say, bring it in when it's acting up. But here's the challenge. You bring it in when it's acting up, but that means that they have a technician standing there ready, willing, and able to work on it the second you pull it in and it's acting up? Probably not. Probably busy, probably scheduled busy. That's what they're supposed to do. That's what they're supposed to be. So now the challenge ensues as far as you finally drive it enough to make it happen. It's happening. And you pull into the shop and hopefully they can break somebody off in that specific instance to at least see what's going on. Now, they may not be able to find out what's going on, but at least they can see firsthand what's going on. And I would love to say that shops trust all of the customers, but there's a saying out there, buyers are liars. The people selling, they're not supposed to lie. Nobody's supposed to lie, but you can't trust a shop if they lie. But then customers don't have the same constraints sometimes. I'm not saying that all customers lie because there's no set schedule for that. But I can guarantee you customers lie way more than shops lie. That's a fact. So do yourself a favor and don't lie. Tell the truth. Telling the truth saves you money. Lying costs you money. I can guarantee it. Give full disclosure to the shop. Communicate to the best of your ability. Take notes. Don't forget stuff. Really learn how to communicate properly with the shop because that's critical. Second to that, it's now done it. Well, the average car's got 3 miles worth of wiring. It's got so many computers on board, it's not even funny. Depending on the car, it can have, the average one nowadays probably has like 40 computers. So you get 40 computers all lined up together, connected with 3 miles of wire going through sensors that are under your dash, under your seat, in your trunk, wrapped in your wiring harness that's got a protective cover around it. And, you've got a bouncing vehicle. It's hitting bumps, period. So that means the connectors have to stay a good flow of electricity through the wiring and the connectors into the sensors, and the sensors have got to, on and on and on. So at that point, what you're really looking at is it only does it sometimes. Well, they can't, that's not possible when the circuits are working right now. There's no way to test it. So they have to wait until it actually is doing it to be able to test it. And it's only will do it for a little bit, and then it's not going to do it for a while longer. So that means they have a very limited window in trying to test for it. Who should pay for that? Should it be the shop? Should the shop have to pay for the time that they're on it, that they're not able to actively diagnose or track or trace the electrical issue or problem when they're trying to just make the problem happen? Who should pay for it? It's definitely not the shop. It's not the shop's car. They don't own it. They didn't buy it. They're not getting the use out of it. It's not the shop's problem. It's the customer's problem, and the customer gets to pay for that problem. But somehow or another, customers have become so entitled that they think that, because different companies are out there, quote, diagnosing for free. They're not really diagnosing for free. They're pulling codes, and they're just muddying the waters. And if they were diagnosing for free, great, but they're not. They're just pulling codes. Codes just give us a direction. And we're not talking about even a code situation right now. We're talking about an intermittent electrical problem right now. So it can be, you can have a short that's the wiring is loose and only creates a short and hits the metal sometimes. So it only drains the battery sometimes. And then it's other times it's not touching metal. It's not grounding itself. So you're not losing that electricity all the time. So it's sitting there doing fine. And it could be anywhere, attached to anything. So at that point, what we're really looking at is the customers own it, they drive it, they get the benefit of it, they're responsible for it. And intermittent problems are just no fun for anybody. But it makes it even less fun for somebody when the customer comes in with an attitude and tries to make it the shop's fault. And then, we can do things like we can shake wiring harnesses and stuff like that. We can try and duplicate it. We have the means, the modes, and the methods to try and get it to happen more often. But understand something. Do you want somebody reaching in there and just shaking the tar out of your wiring harness? I don't. So the more they actually have to do that, trying to duplicate it, the more there actually could be loosening other components. So trying to find one thing can actually create other things. And that's just life. So is that the shop's fault that they created another problem while they're trying to find one problem? Nope, it's not. It's the owner of the car's problem, because it's your problem to begin with. And every time we try and foster the blame over onto the shop, instead of accepting responsibility for our own car, our own problems, then that's a problem. And then you get into the controversy of, well, yeah, but it was working when it came in. I've been doing a brake job on a car, and it started perfectly, pulled it into my bay, killed it, performed the brake job, went to start it to pull it out, take it for the test drive, make sure everything was done right, so everything's seated properly, seat the brakes in properly, and all the other good stuff as best I can, and it won't start. And it could be the ignition switch, it could be the starter, it could be, it could be the battery, it could be all kinds of stuff, and it just chose that specific moment to not work. And then, of course, you call the customer and say, unfortunately, the starter's not any good. Well, it was working when I brought it in. Yes, it was. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. Started fine when you brought it in. But me starting it one time and pulling it into my bay didn't ruin your starter. It just chose that specific moment in time to go bad. So who's responsible for that? The shop? Because they started your car one time and they're trying to do you a service by performing a brake job on your car. One thing has nothing to do with the other thing. And of course, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel fair. I mean, hey, I didn't break it. You broke it. Well, no, the shop didn't break it. It just chose that moment in time to break. See, that's the difference. Did the shop actually break it? That's the key. If the shop actually breaks it, like they're prying on something and it shatters the windshield, because unfortunately trying to get a wiper blade motor out one time, one of my techs shattered the windshield. Yeah, we broke it. We pay for it unequivocally. No question about it. If we break it, we are responsible within reason. Because if you're breaking the windshield by trying to get something out, then that's the tech broken. Shop's responsible. But if your car's got any kind of age on it and it's got any kind of the parts are becoming brittle and stuff, then it's no longer the shop's fault if other stuff gets broke. Because again, they didn't break it. It being brittle and it being attached to whatever it is they're working on broke it. They didn't break it. So, and then metal fatigue. With all of the metal fatigue out there, think about that for just a second. Your metal is heated up and cooled down, and it should just last forever. Well, that's not true either. So the key to any problem is just finding a shop that you can trust, that has your best interest at heart, and is going to do the right thing. Stay safe, stay strong.